Most maritimers can answer the question, where is Hopewell? Along the Atlantic coast, the Hopewell or Flower Pot Rocks are recognized as one of the most distinct images to be seen on postcards, photography pages, or tourism websites. The Bay of Fundy is known to have the highest tides in the world, sometimes reaching a difference of up to 50 feet. At low tide, visitors can walk along the ocean floor, explore numerous sea caves, and wade barefoot or rubber-footed through the trademark red clay mud. At high tide, visitors can kayak around the scenic Flower Pot Rocks along the shoreline and see the waves from numerous lookouts. Coastal erosion is a common occurrence along ocean shores, as the wind, waves, and tide can have a large impact on natural weathering. Human interference can also have a very big effect on these processes. At Hopewell, both of these can be seen at work. An example of natural weathering and erosion can be seen in the Flower Pot Rocks themselves. These rocks have been formed over hundreds of thousands of years as the ocean broke down the soft layers of rock, leaving the shapes that we see now. These processes are still taking place today, as seen in the collapsing of the Elephant Rock a few years ago. Hopewell is made up of mainly sedimentary rocks, and they are broken down into smaller particles over time. There are distinct layers within the rock that can be related to how it was formed over the years. The tides of Fundy can be credited for a majority of the erosion that takes place on the coastline. As salt water is taken to and from the rock, it also brings or takes particles and sediment. These tides are caused by the Earth's response to the gravitational pulls of primarily the moon and secondarily the sun. These tides are not always the same, as the cycle goes through varying maximum and minimum points. However, they will always run on a clock. Hopewell has very distinct marine cliffs, as well as marine caves and arches. It also shows sea stacks, which are isolated outcrops of resistant rocks. In Genesis 1, verses 9 to 10, we see the forming of oceans. And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas, and God saw that it was good. Of all of God's creation, water has always been something that I'm drawn to, which is why I've chosen to do my project on different water forms. I love the mountains and I love the fields, but water truly calls me. It brings me to a state of feeling his complete presence. Arnold speaks about the Sea of Faith in his poem Dover Beach, how our faith can rise and fall much like the sea does in its tides, which is something that I connect with. It rings with truth and also with this realistic hopefulness. My favorite section is as follows. The sea of faith was once too at the full and round earth's shore, lay like the folds of a bright girdled furled, but now I only hear its melancholy, long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the wind night down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world. I think it speaks to the low moments in life, much like the low tides of the seas. It brings this vulnerability and bareness, a rawness that allows for our faith to rise up. The low tide is quiet, still, serene, allowing for the other parts of nature to be heard, and I believe this is a symbolic mirror of our faith walk. During these low points, everything else fades away and allows for the important things, the come to God moments, to take precedence over all else.